my name is Mhairi and this is my vlog, and today we want to talk about, we do darling, I do and I'm sure you do too, myopia or nearsightedness, okay? Because listen, I was listening to the radio a couple of weeks ago and there was an optician saying that nearsightedness is on the increase, because right now it's primarily just an issue with developed countries, because you get, and essentially, I'm not a scientist, but from what I remember of the optician, he was saying you get nearsightedness and myopia because of being indoors a lot and reading or doing close-up activities, okay? Now in the developing world, they spend a lot more time outside, looking at mountains. Obviously when you're outside, you have a different perspective of things as opposed to being inside. But because the developing countries are getting more money, blah, 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 they're reading more and doing things, and so that's increasing their myopia. And I was thinking, isn't that interesting? So we're so sort of focused on what's right in front of us. We're not seeing perspective, and that can be damaging for our eyesight, but also can't that be damaging for our life? Because you want to think of life in perspective. So I've been thinking about that, which is pertinent because Holly and I are selling the show right now, and we're going full hammer and tongs, 15 hours a day, researching, emailing, thinking, writing handwritten cards from our very own hand, doing like things. And obviously the idea can be that we just want it now because we've been spending 3 years developing it and working on it, and now it can be the thing of, well, why hasn't the person replied, and what's going on, and do we need to keep doing this? And I suddenly was thinking of this with myopia and thinking, no, we need to step back, and instead of just thinking of the immediate, we need to think of the perspective of the mountain ranges and stuff like that, and give things a bit of air, right? And then that made me think of cakes and bread, which I quite like thinking of cake, but it was the idea that you do the ingredients and then you put the cake in the oven, you just have to let it rise. So I think there's that feeling of we've done the work and then you have to let it go a bit and wait for something else to happen that has to be out of your control. Like you cannot be the oven that making the cake rise, the bread rise, or all that. You have to just let that go. And I think that's a very helpful thing to remember, because we live in a very mentally productive society where it's just deemed that we should be busy. I mean, listen, you ask a lot of people, how are you? And the first thing they'll say is, oh, really busy. As if that's like an answer to how you actually are. You feel that it's a badge of honor or that one must be busy all the time, which I think that's what is giving people, myopia, nearsightedness. You need to have a bit of time where you step back and you wait for the cake to rise, and then you can enjoy the cake and everything's fine, and you've not fallen down with near exhaustion with massive glasses on because you can't see the wood from the trees. So there you go, darling. Let's start the conversation.